What a beautiful day to come together and celebrate Immigrant Heritage Month and World Refugee Day. And my name is Roxana Orellana, or Roxana Orellana, whichever one you can pronounce. And I am the Policy Advisor for Refugee and New Americans in the Mayor's Office of Equity and Inclusion. And at this moment, I'd like to invite you to join me in welcoming our Mayor, Erin Mendenhall.
Good morning. Thank you for being here on this bright and sunny second day of summer in a black box theater with us. Thank you to our friends here at Sorensen Unity Center for hosting us. If I back up a little, does the tinniness leave? Back up a little bit? Okay. I have some remarks to share with you today, but I want to begin by recognizing my ancestors not far back who were refugees and immigrants to the United States. Yanina Rachite Morkunis, my grandmother, who became Jane Morkunis, and my grandfather, Janis Petrus Morkunis, who became John. And they were Lithuanians. They ended up in a deportation camp during World War II and lived there. They met there, they married there, and they lived there until after the war ended and they could find a sponsor to allow them to come to the United States through Ellis Island, and they lived in Philadelphia. My mother was born shortly after they arrived, and they lived in the back of a convent where some nuns had a few apartments for refugee families, and they lived there till my mother was 7. I'm so grateful for them and for the heritage that they taught me, and for their perspective on the opportunities of this place. So their courage and tenacity and their love for this country and their love for their home country that they never were able to return to is part of me and part of the work that I do. So I welcome you as the granddaughter of Janis and Yanina. And I'm excited to see some new faces here. There's many of you that I have not yet met, and I sincerely hope that we can connect today. And thank you to all of our friends who have been in conversation and relationship with the city prior to today. Welcome back. But this is our first ever Immigrant and Refugee Awareness Gathering. Please put your hands together for yourselves and for being here today. This event is part of our efforts to further more intentional and equitable engagement with our underrepresented communities. We want to meet you. We want to know you. And we want you to meet our team at Salt Lake City. We want you to have our phone numbers in your phone and know who you can always call. We want to strengthen our relationships to better serve the needs of our new residents and celebrate the culture and the creativity and the passion that is joining this community. It's our responsibility as the capital city to be compassionate, welcoming, and to extend our support and open arms to those who seek solace in our community, whether it was forced to flee their home and seek refuge, or whether you journeyed here to find opportunities in this new place. Salt Lake City is committed to providing a nurturing and inclusive environment where everyone's rights and dignity and aspirations are respected. As refugees settle here in our community, they infuse the city with innovative ideas, traditions, and talents that strengthen us and that also transform our identity into something greater than the sum of its parts. It's important to us at Salt Lake City that new Americans have access to the resources they need to obtain education and jobs and housing and healthcare and safe spaces as a minimum. And also that there's a community that celebrates, holds space, evolves because of their contributions. That's what we're here to create with you. We're working on many of the issues that I know you've shared in the survey we sent out earlier, like increasing affordable housing and equity and inclusion in public safety. Thank you, Chief Brown and your team, for being here today. We're going to have a lot of these conversations with you today. And all of these issues are well in the works, and we're here to learn from you about how we can do them even better. By coming together, I know we can create a city that not only welcomes refugees and immigrants and empowers new Americans to thrive, but will build personal relationships with one another. And now it's my pleasure and my privilege to introduce to you Salt Lake City Councilman with whose district we are meeting in today, Alejandro. And I also want to recognize our great state representative, Angela Romero, who joined us today. Thank you for being here. Ale.
Hola, soy Alejandro Puy, the council member that represents this area. I feel very lucky to be here today. I'm an immigrant. When I was deciding this morning what to wear, I had a few options: a purple suit, a black suit, a gray suit, a dark blue suit, or a baby blue suit. And as you probably know by now, I put all the baby blue I could wear. I'm originally from Argentina, and I don't know if you remember the colors of the flag. It's very dear to my heart. Next year will be 18 years since I lived in this country. And soon it will be longer. I would have lived longer in the United States than in other places, in Argentina included. This place became home very quickly to me. It's a community so tightly knit that it is very powerful when we are together. When I was sitting there, I wanted to think about a few words that to me represent this community. And I was thinking about courage, power, family, character, contribution, entrepreneurship, dynamic, youthful. Some of the first words that came to my mind about immigrants and people like us, refugees, and all of those words that come to mind are only powerful when we are working together. When we not only are successful with our own lives, but when we share those contributions with our community. So I want us to remember to be a light around us. Be involved in your community. If it is helping a neighbor, if it is service in your community in different ways, get involved, be part of it, make a difference. Many of us have kept our heads down while working 2 or 3 jobs for many years. I want you to lift your head and be part of this community. Thank you for being here. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for what you bring to the table. Your contributions are valuable. You could be anything you wanted to in this country. And I hope that you dream big. I wanted to celebrate with you today. I want you to enjoy this day and carry your light with you everywhere you go. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Halima Hussein, and I'm a refugee from Somalia. I've lived in Salt Lake City for about 20 years. I'm currently the Women's Services Coordinator at the Refugee Services Office, which is a division within the Department of Workforce Services. as we commemorate this day today, I would like us especially to remember refugees who are still living in the camps. I think it's very important that we know that it's not only refugees who've already been resettled, but it's every refugee wherever they are. Let's also celebrate with them. They have hopes, aspirations. They hope to one day maybe take the journey that we all took, or maybe have peace in their country and go back home, which is also a very good option for them. So refugee stories, regardless of their origin, they are stories of persecution, conflict, profound loss, heartache, and violence. But in those stories also, there's survival, there's bravery, and there's most of all hope. Because every day when you wake up, you know you are hoping that it's going to be a better day today. So in my role as the coordinator at the Refugee Services Office, I work with families, especially women. And I see how they work very hard trying to improve their lives and those of their families. And also, they put a lot of energy to just try and change, because this is a second chance for everybody who's coming from a war-torn country. And you don't want to waste your second chance. You want to make the best of it. So they are very hardworking, and especially the women. They really strive to provide their children the necessary education so that they can have equal opportunity like everybody else. So what I would say is every mother, wherever she is, no matter how, whatever her economic, socio-economic background is, we all desire one thing. We want our children to be safe, we want them to be housed, we want them to have food, and most of all, we want them to have good education so that they can contribute to the country they are in, or they can go back home and contribute where they came from. Despite the challenges refugees face during resettlement, because it's a new country that you're coming to, and it's really difficult to start over no matter what services you're receiving. But we can confidently affirm that Salt Lake City and Utah generally welcomes refugees. The kindness by Utah citizens and the unique refugee programs offered have made resettling much, much easier. For example, we have the Know Your Neighbor program, which is a volunteer program initiated by the Salt Lake City Mayor's Office and the State Refugee Office. This program actually matches volunteers from local volunteers with refugees to just so that they can get good integration and also so that they can exchange their culture, their language. It's both ways very, 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 very successful. So programs like this have made everything much easier for us. Refugees are working very hard and they bring diversity, they bring new culture, they bring new language skills. So in conclusion, I think I would like to address my community, the refugee community, particularly the younger generation. So embarking on a new career or just starting a new life does not happen overnight. There are very many hurdles and challenges that you have to go through. But so it requires patience, it requires time, persistence, consistency, dedication, all those things. But the American dream is attainable. Utilize all the available resources and opportunities that are made available for you. Never forget your roots, because if you don't know where you came from, you will never know where you're going. And your community, all of us are here to support you on your journey. Thank you.
Nar Erandaski, buenos dias. My name is Leticia Alvarez Gutiérrez, and I'm a proud daughter of immigrants. And so with that, I'm honored to read the Proclamation for Immigrant. Whereas June is Immigrant Heritage Month, a time to recognize and celebrate the rich tapestry of cultures, traditions, and achievements brought by our nation and by immigrants. And whereas the United States has been built on the strength, diversity, and contributions of immigrants who have journeyed this land from every corner of the world, seeking new opportunities, freedom, and better life for themselves and their families. Whereas immigrants have played the integral role in shaping the history, economy, arts, education, social fabric, and the very foundation of our country, enriching our society with diverse perspectives, cultures, talents, and innovation. And whereas Salt Lake City acknowledges the hardships and sacrifices endured by immigrants throughout history and honors their resilience, determination, and unwavering belief in the American dream. And whereas we also recognize that immigrants contribute to the vitality and growth of our communities, creating jobs, starting businesses, strengthening neighborhoods, and fostering cultural exchange. And whereas it is essential to promote inclusion, respect, and understanding among all members of society, regardless of their immigration status, and to ensure that every individual is afforded equal rights, protections, and opportunities. And whereas we appreciate the tireless effort of immigrant rights advocates, community organizations, and individuals who work tirelessly to empower immigrants, defend their rights, and promote a more inclusive and welcoming society. Now, therefore, I, Erin Mendenhall, Mayor of Salt Lake City, proclaim June 2023 as Immigrant Heritage Month in Salt Lake City.
Good morning, all. My name is Neopany. I am from Bhutan. I am a Bhutanese refugee. I came to Utah in June 2013. Right now, I am working at University of Neighborhood Partners and also volunteering at Bhutanese Community Utah. So I'm going to read out the proclamation. Whereas the United Nations General Assembly in its Resolution 5576 designated June 28 as World Refugee Day to honor the courage, resilience, and determination of millions of refugees worldwide who have been forced to flee their homes due to conflict, resolution, and natural disasters. And whereas the global refugee crisis remains one of the most pressing humanitarian challenges of our time, with millions of people uprooted from their communities, leaving behind everything they know and love, and seeking safety and a better future for themselves and their families. And whereas World Refugee Day provides an opportunity for us to raise awareness about the plight of refugees and to express solidarity with them, recognizing their contribution to our societies and reaffirming our commitment to protecting their rights and ensuring their well-being. And whereas there are over 65,000 refugees in Utah, almost all of them residing in the Salt Lake Valley. Last year, we welcomed an additional 1,575 refugees and are expecting to match that number again this year. And whereas there are over 80 refugee community groups working to better the lives of refugees and all in our community. And whereas we also recognize the remarkable efforts of humanitarian organizations, non-governmental organizations, and individuals who provide life-saving assistance, protection, and support to refugees, obtained at a great personal sacrifice. And whereas Salt Lake City Mayor Office has over 68 partners actively working to support and improve the lives of refugees who live here. And whereas Know Your Neighbor has matched 607 volunteers for a total of 19,000 plus volunteer hours. Almost 800 refugees were supported by the program in the last year. And whereas Salt Lake City acknowledges that every refugee has a unique story and that their experiences, skills, and perspectives enrich our diverse societies and contribute to our collective progress. And whereas it is crucial to address the root causes of forced displacement, promote peace, stability, and respect for human rights, and work towards durable solutions, including voluntary repatriation, local integration, or resettlement, in collaboration with governments, international organizations, civil societies, and private sectors. And whereas Salt Lake City is a welcoming city to all refugees and support integration efforts through Know Your Neighbor program, a partnership between the Salt Lake City Mayor's Office and Refugee Services Office, connecting local volunteers with refugees in Utah to assist with a variety of needs and create a welcoming and inclusive environment. Now, therefore, I, Erin Mendenhall, Mayor of Salt Lake City, proclaim June 20, 2023 as World Refugee Day in Salt Lake City. June 2023, Erin Mendenhall, Mayor. Thank you so much.
About, several years ago, a few years ago, I stood right here, well, not in this building, but in Salt Lake City, where I took my an oath as a new citizen, new American citizen, and it was a very happy day for me, for my family, my children, that I raised here in Utah, and having this opportunity to share my poetry here today is very significant for me. So thank you for inviting me to be here today. They gave me about 10, 12 minutes. My poems are usually a little bit under 5. So bear with me if I have to share 2 pieces with you. One is about the American dream, and the other one is about, has some few words in different languages, because we're in a room full of immigrants, so you might recognize your own language. The first poem is entitled Aquaba, and it was a tribute to Representative John Lewis. When he passed away, I was inspired to write that. I was flogged with my mothers until our flesh burned. Our blood still stains the door of no return. Together, we sailed from Africa to the Americas, where we were sold like cattle, dispersed like Saharan sand. We are the scattered stars who dot the Caribbean skies. Our blood was shed alongside our Native American brothers and sisters, all across their birthright lands. My bruised ankles, my wrists, my wounds, are all evidence of my deep wounds. I am the dream Martin Luther King foresaw. I am the pride for which Malcolm X vowed. My crown radiates peace from my brother Mandela, who fought the good fight that a warrior John Lewis fully embraced. Good trouble, he called it, necessary trouble. From fumbles on to gumbos, brother, to you I say hello and jumbo. Well done, John.
Now come on home. Akwaba Nana. Boye Malamu. We welcome you. Thank you. American dream. Can I tell you a secret? I am not perfect. Neither are you. It is the memory of the sheer agony of my African ancestry staring into the depths of you that haunts your sleep and you weep. Can I tell you another secret? You are not perfect. Neither am I. When I look into your eye, I feel enraged and can't seem to turn the page on rage for the lynchings of the likes of me, for the blood drained out of those who looked like me. Can I tell you their secret? Our ancestors, they were not perfect, but neither are we if we continue to pretend or try to defend those denying history. Will you share your secret that you know you're not perfect, but long to be honest, that you know your ancestors' deeds have impeded my children's quests to be freed from evil seeds? Will I share my secret that I know humans are not perfect, or that bloodshed only leads to tyranny eternally, and that if we earnestly strive for unity consistently, both my ancestors and yours, I know, would be humbled at the courage they see in us for succeeding where they failed way back then, respecting each other and coexisting equally, peacefully on this land that neither they nor we young folks owned or inherited without loss. The loss of old and young lives, the loss of dignity and freedoms, the loss of husbands and wives, the loss of kingdoms and queendoms. Both my ancestors and yours owe deep reverence to the indigenous matriarchs and daughters, patriarchs and healers, the unsung heroes and sheroes, so to speak, in this American dream that you and I seek, or so it seems. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that concludes this portion of the event. I want to thank the speakers. Thank you so much for coming and joining us, and also spreading your positive influence in our community. Really appreciate that. And now we are going to take a moment and mingle. That's what we're going to do. I also realized that today I dressed like a flight attendant for no reason, but it was too late to change, so now you can get out of your seats and mingle and get some refreshments, and then the second portion will begin at 10:30. Thank you so much.